Hey everybody, welcome to Make Money Online in Africa. We might change this name to something else because this is a Make Money in Africa channel, not necessarily just online. But I'm going to get more consistent with uploads. I want to do quality, so if I feel like I might be repeating a subject, it's like I don't upload because I see all of these other channels and they kind of regurgitate between 20 and 60% of their videos are literally the same information that's on other ones. So I don't really want to do that, but in order for you guys to know that I have content that's here regular and that you can benefit. That's the whole thing. You listen and then you apply this. I'll upload a little bit more consistently. But today, let's look at this. You saw the title of the video, or you just clicked it because you know it's me uploading. We're going to talk about how to get out of the struggle of poverty into an area where you actually can be financially free and then going into financial power. Okay. Some people call that high value. Uh, you could look at that as high value depending on where you are. It's different levels of that, but then you got an international standard of high value, and then you got what Jason Black calls producers, which create high value people. So we're going to talk about the high value aspect of that. So for those of you that this year and many years before have been struggling in poverty, this is some of the ways to get out. And I've gone through my cycles of doing well and then coming back down for different reasons. Some money stolen, some mistakes I made, and things like that. And I actually refocused myself generally recently, where I have now been more quiet in even my trading groups. And I focused only on the people that are better than me in trading. I've already been talking to some of them so that I can even level up myself. So I'll get into that a little bit later. But these are things that have worked for me and work for people that are better than me. Number one, have assiduity. That means no matter what, you do it. Even if you are late. Let's say you got some deadline, you are doing it and you'd rather not be late because that's pretty bad itself. But you do this no matter what. You sick, rain, shine, sleet, snow for the locations in Africa that do snow and all of that. You do it anyway. You do it. Assiduity. Warren Buffett says you sit on your ass and you do it. That's how it is. Even if you're not consistent. That's what he said. He said, yeah, consistency is a good trait, but assiduity is that better trait. That means you do the thing. Because if somebody consistently, every time they're on, they do it, obviously you'll have more success, right? But he said even the most successful law firms that he saw were the ones that had the assiduity to do it. Then, number two, you reduce number two and three are kind of like the same, but I'll get into that in a second. Number two, you reduce stress not related to achieving your poverty alleviation goals. So you got a goal of whatever it is. We'll get into that later. If you're having petty arguments with people, just get out of it. Don't even have the argument. Stop engaging. There's some chick that you're trying to date. There's a guy that you're trying to date or something like that. You're just having these petty arguments, and she's like, "Oh, you did X, Y, and Z, and you said this. You're making me so angry." And you're looking at this like, "What the heck is going on?" Get out of it. Those are traps. They're gonna sink you in that cycle. Is she one of those? Is she better than you? Number one, right? From a guy perspective, is she better than you? Okay, if she's not better than you, okay, that means by definition you are better than her. So should you be arguing with somebody that you are better than in this situation? Is there somewhere that she's better than you at that she's elevating you? That's the next question you got to ask. If there's not somewhere where she's elevating you in a significant portion where you say, yeah, I'm broke, she's broker, or I'm here struggling and she's struggling lur, let me make up that word, but she's struggling more, or wherever it is, yeah, I'm not really getting too much of a benefit here. So this is actually an anchor holding me down. So what I need to do is focus on the things that make me not struggle. And this isn't helping me. Yeah, you might say, yeah, I get some ass. So it's helping me other areas. My guy, no, it's not. No, it's not. If you're focused, you wouldn't even be thinking about that. That's what true focus is. If you could delay gratification, that's what that would be. You could delay all of these things, you put it off. Now, you don't become some introverted nerd where you can't talk to people, but even, look at Mark Zuckerberg. He's got a Chinese wife, and he sounds, people say he sounds like a lizard man or something. He can barely talk. He sounds very regressive and everything. Hey, it is what it is. He worked it out. He found somebody else that could tolerate his nerd self, and that's what it was. If you look at her, you see that she's the type that will match up with him, and that's the thing. Now, what you could do is you could de-stress, a different type of stress, like go for a run. See, you got stresses that can help you. It stresses you out, but then it makes your body stronger. It makes your body stronger. You're more alert. Then you can do the things that you need to do. Push-ups, crunches. You keep your health in order with that stress. That's a good stress. But all of these other stresses where you're having arguments, unless you're going into politics or something, which means you should be debating with them, then there. I hit this point for a reason. Number 3, eliminate advice and debate with people, and you eliminate debate. It probably sounds weird when I say it out loud now. You eliminate the advice from, and you eliminate debating with people not relevant in your field. Okay? Let me say it again. You eliminate getting advice from and debating with people not relevant in your field. Another way to say this is do not, and I repeat, do not, and again, do not tell people what your plans are unless they're in that field. Unless that person is reliable and successful in your field. You might talk to a, quote, mentor figure or somebody that's trusted that isn't going to crap on you and everything like that. Because there's a few exceptions, like you're getting to know a person, you just meeting them and they say, hey, what do you do? And you say, hey, I'm trying to be an astrophysicist. And, in general, you might not want to tell everybody that because they might look at you and they say, this person isn't very bright. You sure you're going to do that? Or they say, ha, 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 that's a good job. Good job there. Good job, Abisola. Good job. And like pat you on the head. Like it's kind of sarcastic. It's like something's a little off. And you internalize that. Even if you didn't get it from them there, the back of your subconscious mind is picking all of this stuff up. And then also, if you tell one of those people that you're having petty debates and arguments with, they're just going to throw it back in your face. Then they're going to say, oh, well, you couldn't do this, so how can you do that? Man, F them. Forget them. Drop them. If you can't eliminate those people out of your life completely, then reduce as much time as you can with those people. And instead, replace. Okay, this is what we got to do. If you got a bad habit of drinking alcohol, you don't just not drink alcohol. You replace that drinking alcohol with now eating healthy food. You're obviously probably not going to be eating healthy food at the same extent of drinking alcohol, especially if you're doing all day and night. But you could be grazing a little bit during the day off of little bites of good food. You replace it with a good habit instead of leaving a void there for a bad habit to refill itself. Do you understand? So there you go. Now, like I said, it's a few exceptions. You might just casually tell somebody, but that's up to you. I still lean toward, if somebody's asking you what your dream is, you could share it, but after that, you're not really going to repeatedly say it. There's multiple reasons for this, and I'll stay a little bit longer on here. The reason is that they had that TV show where they had people it was in Britain, where people were publicly declaring, I am going to do this. I put it on a stone tab and I did this and everything. And people do not follow through on things they publicly say a lot. This is not the anime world. This is not Naruto saying, believe it. I'm going to be king of the pirates with Luffy with One Piece. I'm going to be this. I want to fight strong opponents. I'm going to do this. Okay, fighting strong opponents you probably could do, as long as you keep training and you're not just running your mouth. The other ones, King of the Pirates, going to be Hokage, going to be all of this stuff, those things require a lot more work than just getting your butt beat. Because you didn't say, I'm going to be the strongest guy. I'm going to fight strong opponents. So there's no thing about winning. You just like, hey, I want to have fun and get my butt broken or something like that, right? I'm getting my butt kicked. But on the other ones, Those require work, and there's no guarantee that you can get those anyway, because there are other people going after those spots. There are people in those spots that don't want you to take the spot. And also, it's going to be times where you're going to feel like, man, why should I be going after this? Why should I be doing this? And because you said it out loud, if you say, I am going to be an astrophysicist too many times out loud, and it's not to that point where it's so built into your brain that it doesn't matter. It's like you saying it out loud isn't really saying it. Most of us don't have a strong enough conviction to our goals like that. So one person can knock it off with some of their doubt. So if you tell somebody you want to be an astrophysicist, there's this thing like on that British show, you'll feel satisfied that you actually said it. It's like you did something. You feel like you did something by talking. Have you ever, just ask yourself this question. Have you ever talked to somebody about doing something? Then you're like, man, I feel pretty good. Then you realize later, maybe after you didn't do it, maybe while you're trying to do it, or maybe you just said, hey, that's weird right now, which is probably rare, but you said, I feel pretty good like I did it, but I didn't do it. Or even this other one, I felt this plenty of times too. While I'm trying to do the thing, it's like I felt real motivated to do it, and then I had this 20, 30, 40, 2 hour conversation with somebody else about all the things I'm going to do about this said thing. Let's say write a book. That's very good for me. Write a book. And then I'm like, yeah, I was real motivated, and I was actually writing a book too. And then I got 2 pages in, or a couple paragraphs in, I called somebody, or somebody called me, which was most of the time. And I started talking to them and talking and talking. And I felt good, like I did something. Then I look back at the page, I don't feel like it. I'll do it tomorrow. And I just stopped right there. Because every day something else happened. And then eventually I got the habit of being cut off or not finishing. Now your brain is trained like, write a couple of words. It gets shorter and shorter, by the way. Now it's hard, so you got to break through it. But we're not going to do it. Most of the time, humans want to do the easiest thing. So that's why number 3 is important. You put it, you do not tell people there. And finally, again, with number 3, this was a long time. I spent 6+ minutes on this. You instead, let me check my other point real quick. Oh, that's what I'm going to combine it. I'm going to do that later, but hold the thing that you're avoiding talking to the people not relevant in your field. Number 4, do something you either enjoy or love. Okay? So here's the tricky part about this before I go forward, because people say that, oh, do the thing you love. Look, hey, you need money. You could do a job without loving it. Okay? You don't need to love the job. Just like fighters, when they fight each other, particularly men, you could fight somebody without hating them, because that's the job that you're doing. You might even enjoy fighting and everything like that. It's a lot easier to do something when you already enjoy it, for when the hard time comes, you're there. Unless you're that ultra disciplined that you can do something and it's really grinding at your brain, and you're just like, hey, this is a job. I need to put in my effort. But it's something about flowing. It's something about just in that emotion where you just kind of enjoy it anyway. You enjoy doing that thing that it could just make you go further and above and beyond doing something regularly. So either you already like it or love it, or you having success at it. Because a lot of times we can like things when we're winning, but we don't like it when we're not winning. Imagine you just finished last place in a 5K every single time. Unless you just love the 5K in general, you might say, oh man, I hate this thing. Just think of it that way. You hate it because you're losing. But then as soon as you get a taste of winning, you're like, man, I like this. I need to keep doing it some more. And you know, a lot of people don't like practice. They don't like to do the training associated. It's painful. It's all of that. But then they get to the race, and it's the people there that's cheering in the crowds, if they have some, and especially road races, and then they feel good about that. But most people, from my perspective, are not under that, hey, I'm going here and I'm enjoying this event. I'm enjoying this thing that I do all the time. That's work. They're more like I'm enjoying it because I have moderate to above average success, right? I'm having some success at it, so I somewhat enjoy it. I'm having a lot of success, so I really enjoy this thing. And then, of course, that might get old too. You know what I mean? You got Michael Johnson that said, I did what I needed to do. I'm going out. Usain Bolt did what I needed to do. I'm going out. They won so much, and then they said, and what else? What else is there to do? I could keep going a couple of years until I'm forced to, leave out because I'm getting beat all the time. But you know what? I kind of did everything I needed to do. World records, all these gold medals, and kind of getting tired of beating people. It's the same old, same old. See, or Michael Jordan and all of these things, right? Or that's one extreme of it. But when it comes to life, you just kind of do something else. Then you did that one thing that you were hyper successful at, and you move back to something else, like Michael Jordan did with the baseball for a short time. Came back to basketball, then he left, and he came back to basketball. There you go. You see, you can do that. But that's where the success comes from. Success brings money. Okay, like I said, it's a gray area because you don't want to just do something because you love it. What if you love rapping and you're not making any money, you're not very good, so on and so forth. So we got to have some realism. Now, if you followed those, you're going to get out of poverty. You can get out of poverty. And I would say it's a very high likelihood that you will. Now, that should get you out of struggle as well. That I know for sure that should get you out of poverty. Now, here, number 2 and 3. These two combined basically equal spend less time talking with people that distract you from what you do. Problem: if you don't know what you're going to go out there and do, if you don't know a goal that you have, you can't be distracted from something you don't have a goal for. You cannot be distracted from something you don't know what you're doing. So quickly try to establish a goal. Goals can change, by the way. You could be 19 or 20 listening to this. 15, 13, 35. If you're younger, easier, right? It's easier because you don't have as many financial responsibilities. And if you do have some now, trust and believe, you get older, it's going to get even more burdensome. Look at inflation keep going up. Think of it now. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm on my own already. I got all of this and parents not there. I had to take care of my parents actually. Yeah, but think about inflation. It's going up now. It's going to keep going up for the foreseeable future. So yeah, just that alone, you got to do more work in order to get less profits off of that work, which means the people 10 years ago at your same age had to do less work to get the same amount of buying power that you are getting now. Think about that. Now, spend less time talking with people that distract you from what you do. Let's assume you know what you want to do. Let's assume you got that for now. Hello, rabbit. I have a pet rabbit, guys. So, and more time with successful professionals in your field. Okay, this is why I said hold that thought. Notice I said successful professionals in your field. Let's take astrophysics, for example. Now, if we go with that example, you're going to seek out and speak to, as much as you can, obviously these people may be busy, and try to, what some people call networking. But let's not use that word. You're going to establish relationships with these people and speak to them. Remember, the saying is true. You are the sum of the 5 people you speak to the most. Yet, you are like, hey, let me go talk to drunk Bessie over there. Let me go talk to Freaky Abasola over there for a lot of my time. Let's go talk to player Chinwude over there. Let's go talk to this guy and that guy. Kipchoge over here. And that. They don't got any particular thing that they're good at or whatever like that. And yet you're hanging out with them. And yeah, you expect to be different or excel more. Think about it like this. Have you all seen and read about how people, they say, hey, it's lonely at the top, it's lonely for success? And I'm speaking to the people that want high success here. Even though I said high value, I'm talking about high success. We're going to work into that. But this applies to everybody. You notice they say that, and sometimes they lose friends along the way, not from death, but because they eliminate themselves. Not even that they got into an argument. These people sometimes get jealous that that one person is doing better. That person changed. You're going to change if you dedicate yourself to doing something. If you become a bodybuilder, your body is physically going to change. That is the easiest way I can look at it. Athletics is an easy thing to look at. Your thinking when you look at a weight, your thinking when you look at food will change. How you associate with those things and your sleep schedule and all of that will change, which means your word choice, your definitions, your personality to a certain extent will change in adapting to the career path that you go into. Some people cannot handle that change. Sometimes it's a positive change that you have, and sometimes it's a negative change that you bring along. But let's stick to this where a lot of times it's just neither positive nor negative. It's positive in the field that you're in. And it might be perceived as negative to the people that you associated with because they thought, hey, I used to have 5 hours to talk to this person every day. They only give me 10 minutes a week now. They only want to hang out with me 30 minutes to an hour now every other week. They don't really want to hang out like that. We used to hang out every day. That's a big drop off, by the way. That's going to sting. Change usually has to be forced on us. And the world is always changing. So we could either do it ourselves or somebody else will do it to us. If you spend more time with successful people in your field, you'd form relationships with them. These people, that pressure is going to force you to be better. Think about if you're the fat, morbidly obese person and you say, hey, I'm going to join this group. Every single one of these other. Now, this gap is too big usually because unless you have some kind of trait that allows you to get into this round table, this example might not work in real life. Because if you're like that bad, that low on the totem pole, you would by sheer luck get into a circle of people that are highly trained and highly fit, right? You got to have some level of something, some drive or whatever that person sees something in you or that determination that gets you in there. But let's say you got in, you snuck into a group. You are the only fat and morbidly obese person in there, the only unfit person. Everybody else is slim and fit. Their ass is their stomach is tight. Their ass is right. Okay, stomach tight, ass right. Muscles are just right on the women. Muscles bulging on the guys. You got all of that, right? I'm giving you the both examples here. That pressure alone from being around them and hearing them speak, they don't have to throw a single freaking joke in your direction. They don't have to talk about no fat people, and they probably will, because that's what they probably would maybe that's what they probably would normally do at that location. Let's not assume that they do. A lot of people aren't thinking about people below them necessarily, but let's say that they do. They don't have to do that. You're going to see them. They could probably be even encouraging you a lot of times. Hey, you could lose this weight. You got to look in the mirror every freaking day and see yourself at that size 20 dress size. And you see these other women, they're size 4s, they're size 6s, some of them are 2s. You got a couple 8s in there maybe, but that wouldn't be the slim. That's actually not slim. That's the borderline. You getting them in 4s and 6s. And it depending on if they're doing a sport. We're not talking about sports people, by the way. So you see them there. You're a size 20. You're a size freaking 12, 14. How do you intend to keep up with them? In the beginning, you can't. If you were running a 100-meter dash, they would finish and you would be 4 or 5 seconds behind. That's a blowout. They would finish in 10 seconds. You would finish in 15. It's like they ran 50% of the race you still got left by the time they finish. This is going to do one of two things to you. One, you step up and you level up. Or two, you pussy out and you quit. And you whine and complain about how hard it was and how hard it is and how all these people are mean to me. Getting success is not easy. You get your ass beat the hell up out here. It, the world chews you up, spits you out, stumps on you, and then pile drives you into the freaking ground. This is what this does. You think this was something easy? My guy? Whoever's listening to this, you think this is easy? No. But guess what? You're going to do one or two things. And what I found is that if you put the people in the environment, we adapt. That's what happens. We adapt. Many of us will adapt to that situation. So if you have people and they're conditioned to fail, look at Nigeria. No offense to anybody listening from Nigeria. And they're conditioned to fail. The way that whole government setup right there is conditioning you to fail. Kind of like the United Kingdom, more specifically Britain. They have a whole depressed media system that just oppresses the hell out of people. That's how the whole global system is. See, I want to just make it more specific to some of the countries that listen here. This is nothing picking on it. The whole system that's there is designed to make you just fail. Most of these systems. Maybe the exception is China and a couple others. Nigeria's school system is actually pretty damn good on the world stage. It's the whole other things outside of that, what the government does and so many other pressures that are out there that are trying to force you to fail or just to be some kind of menial worker. Don't fight back against the government, although we're teaching you pretty good, but don't fight back. See, it's kind of doing two things at once and it has success. It has successfully done that for now. But if you're conditioned in an environment that kind of forces you to go into some situation of hardship, you adapt to it. Why do you think people that go into the military, they're going and then they get out and they're no longer that disciplined. They're no longer that good. They're no longer that. Because while they were in the environment, they never really absorbed the discipline or the lessons. But that environment forced them to step up. And that's what happens if you surround yourself with the other people that are better than you. It will force you to step up. It may not even be you, but while you're around them, you're going to do better. I experienced this myself as a short lesson here that is easy to follow. I went to SIU Carbondale. Every single athlete gapped and eclipsed me as far as their running speed was concerned in these distance races. I was the slowest person by far, not even close on the team. I remember our coach said, hey, freshman newbies, I say this every year and they never listen to me and somebody gets hurt or gets injured. But hey, freshmen, I think it was like 3 of us. He said, do not run with the upperclassmen. I know you're going to do it anyway, but don't run with them. You go at XYZ pace or whatever, and then you ease into it. I did not listen to them. I already knew some of the people because I competed against them literally that year before. And I said, I'm going to keep up with them. They did 45-minute runs. I could only keep up. I remember in the beginning, they were talking to each other. I could barely freaking keep my breath next to them. That's what was happening. Then they're calling my name. Hey, Nick, you okay? Yeah. They said, hey, if you want to test if you're going fast or slow, you say your first name, last name, the school you're at, the university you're at, the degree that you're in, and what your age is. And then you can say that all at once. You should be going at a good pace. I couldn't even say my first name. That's what happened in the beginning. Then later on, and obviously that means at some point I couldn't keep up with them. Probably the first 10 or 20 minutes in. Then after that, I would only lose them after they started picking up. I would literally be so worn out with them. I never stopped to walk when I was in high school. But there I stopped and I had to freaking walk. Now, I didn't feel bad because even some of the freshmen and sophomore actually that were ahead of me, they stopped and walked at some points too. And I'm like, man, these juniors and seniors and that one really good sophomore we had, I mean, really, really good. Yeah, they're whooping their tail. And I share this with you guys as something here. Here's what happened. Long story short. At some point, I got better and better and I had to walk less and less. And if they dropped me, I wasn't walking. I'm still going to pace. I just couldn't keep their pace. And then later on, they didn't drop me as soon. Then later on, I'm keeping up with them virtually almost the whole thing. But then we got into a race. I'm like, hey, I ran my fastest half mile at the beginning of a 10,000 meter run. So 800 meters into a 10,000 meter run, a 10K, I ran the best time, not even close. I eclipsed my 800 time that I had ran in high school. And I'm holding back because I got 9,800 more meters to go. And when they said the time, I'm like, oh. And then I didn't last after the first mile. I didn't last after the first mile, but I was up there with them. When I went out on the race, I said, hey, I'll keep up with them like I normally do with these. I thought I could do this. I'm doing warm-ups faster than some of my races in high school. So, oh, okay, I'm able to keep up with them. Little did I know they're holding back a lot in those training rounds. And when they were dropping me at certain points, I didn't realize how much faster they were. I started thinking I'm on their level. And that's what you would probably think. But here's the point. I got closer to them. And then, of course, I eventually fired the university and stopped going there and stopped training with them and everything like that. I'm fully convinced that just running with them even a year, which I did not run with them a whole year, running with them a year and definitely two, I'd be right there with them. If not the best person on the team, one of the best people on the team, I'm right there in the pack. I'm not going to be last anymore. I'm going to be right there with them. And that was the first time I experienced really just getting destroyed. Because in high school, I'm like the best distance runner on the team. Other teams, I could still beat some people. I'm not finishing in last. I'm not above average. I'm not below average. I'm not average or below average. I'm a little bit above average. In some places, I can win. Hey, this is what you got to do. You either step up or you do this. Here's the problem with that. Getting back to that after that story time. Here's the problem. You know, how do you even get to the spot where you get to those people that are better than you? Here's what most people do. I'm going to just tell you right here. You're either too damn lazy to seek out those people because it's too hard. I can't do it. I hear this most of the time. I don't have no money. Or two, I don't know what to do. Well, obviously you don't know what to do and you don't got no money. You're on this video, or just in general in life, most of us are born broke. Broke families. We don't got the connections. Let's make them. Okay, your government's corrupt. Are you going to take it upon yourself to fight that corruption while you're trying to do the other things? Well, if you're not, I don't know what to say, man. Somebody's got to do it. And maybe, yeah, you sacrifice some of your monetary gain so that your children could do better. Sometimes we are not going to be the ones there. We are the foundation and the building block for our children and grandchildren to actually have the success that maybe we wanted to have ourselves. Yes, depending on the country and the corruption and everything like that, we got to take the L and the sacrifice. That will be a noble cause, and that's understandable if at the age of 50 and 60 you're not there where you want to be because you liberated your country. Unlike what your parents didn't do. They're broke and they didn't even liberate the country. They got no damn excuses. But getting back to this, most people are not willing. They're too damn lazy to go search out the people that are in their field that are more successful than them. They just don't want to do it. Secondly, they're too damn arrogant to say when a person that is more successful than them, whether in their field or not, just let's talk about this in general, more successful, they give them their advice. Then that, I don't want to curse here, that arrogant person will then say, nah, I don't think that'll work. It's like, wait a minute, you got 1,500 Naira in your bank. This guy got 1.5 billion Naira in their bank, at the very least. And you're telling them, not gonna work. This other person has 10 million Naira in their bank, and they're making 1 or 2 million a month. And you got 500 Naira in your damn bank account. And you're saying, Nah, not gonna work. Doesn't fit for my schedule. That's too far. I don't get the money for it. You got 2 feet. Did you just ask people and kind of beg them to help you to get your university fees paid for? But you can't beg them and help get them to pay for your travel fee. Do this thing that this guy will help you get money. But you just did a degree that is potentially gonna help you get money. But this guy told you how to get money. But I don't know what to do. It's too hard. So it's not gonna work. With your arrogant ass. If it worked, you think you know better than the guy that's better than you? Okay, cool. We got no more to say. That's what happens. That's why they can't find those people. Because one, they might run into that person. They'll say something like that, and then they'll just say, it's not gonna work, and then they just dismiss it. Not an open book, not coachable, not anything at all. Or two, or one really, they're too lazy to seek them out. And I think it's a combination of both of those. See, you can't get yourself in that environment of pressure because you won't put yourself in that environment of pressure. Nobody's going to hand it to you most of the time. And for the people that do, you're going to be that arrogant guy. Hey, I don't know if I can do it. I can't do this. I got all these problems and everything. Yeah, we all got problems, including that person that is better than you. They got problems too. And yeah, you can't think long term when you're struggling day to day in poverty. That's the whole point of this video. And you probably didn't last this far in the video for most of you. That's what it is. So you want to find the people better than you. So let's say that you sell clothes, make clothes, do hair, do nails, doing a farm business, a delivery business, a restaurant, a hotel, or something like that. What did I just say here? Come on, you can answer it in the comment section below. What are you supposed to do if you're in one of those fields? You are supposed to do what? What are you supposed to do? I'll tell you. After a little bit of silence. All right, I gave you enough time to type it in. Hopefully you got it. You're supposed to seek out the people better than you. Now, you could also seek out people that are around your level, but here's the problem. You see 2 hippos and 2 whales going to the gym. Most of the time, they will not lose the weight. They will not continue. Both of them have a problem. Both of them are consistently eating foods that make them fat. Most of our weight is actually the food that we eat. All right? The gym is the sculpturing of the body, whereas the body size is actually determined by our food. Why do you think then the bodybuilders, if they stop lifting those weights, those same bodybuilders would just get fat versus all that muscle there? That's the food that they eat. Yet you got distance runners that are running miles and miles and miles. Their body is slightly sculptured because they do so much running. Now they got a calorie deficit. Yes, you could. You can also still maintain some weight, but you just got to eat a lot more and a lot more junk. But there is a point where you could outwork out your eating, and then your heart will explode. Like some of those marathoners that have heart attacks when they run. But their body is slim. But on the other hand, you have people that are doing the marathon. They're doing 5Ks and 10Ks, and their body is slim. And you notice they typically eat a certain way too. If they were to stop doing what they're doing, they most likely would then eat a little bit less in the beginning and then eat more. And they'll put on some weight. Why are they putting on weight? Because they're still eating in a way as if they were still running those miles. That's one. And then two, the calorie deficit probably just would naturally go away. But you don't see many of them get fat. You see a couple of them get fat, but not really many of them. Because a lot of times they're already eating healthy. But those bodybuilders, they don't necessarily have the best healthy lifestyle in general. So when they stop doing it, their muscle goes to fat. All right? So you don't necessarily want to have too many people around your level necessarily. You want to have them Sure, if you're trying to have, let's say, a bulk of restaurants and stores that can work together and form a community, yeah, you want to do that. That's only smart. You're networking with compatriots and potential competition. But here, I said the people you talk to the most. The people you talk to the most. Make sure they're better than you, more successful than you. The people, and I'm going to wrap up here as we're 40 minutes and 30 seconds into this. The people that you want to go for. See, what I like to do is I like to go from the best of the best I can find. And if I can't get them right now and I'm just needing some information, then I'll go to the next level down. For example, I'm debating on whether I should share this now, but I will. I shared this before personally with somebody else and a couple other times. When I went to the university, within the first week of the university, I had already went to the dean's office. I will never forget this. I will never forget this for the rest of my life. Same thing with the chancellor. I went to the chancellor's office. But I remember this with the dean, which then got me set for the other stuff. I just went to the deans. The dean and associate dean, which is assistant, one of them said, she said, I remember the dean, she said, Nick, do you know that no one ever comes to us? This is rare. And I said, why? No one ever comes to us unless either they're getting kicked out of school or in trouble. Actually, it was no student ever comes to us. We don't ever see students. It's rare to see a student when it's not like that. I said, oh, that's crazy. See, what I was thinking at the time, and I was only 18, literally was only 18. Some things I wish I knew a little bit better back then. I would have taken advantage of that. But I went to the dean because I had plans on what I wanted to do in college. I have a CD, put my money into a CD. It's a secure certificate of deposit. It's like a savings account. It locks it in so you can't touch the money for 1, 5, or 10 years and stuff like that. I ended up not following that, unfortunately. I wish I did. But I had a plan of when I went to college. I'm not there because it's a whole ass scam. It's a scam. I'm there to get something out of it. Partially, I wanted to break 4 minutes in a mile. That was one of the things if I was going to go there. But also, I'm like, look, how am I going to use this to make me some money right now? So I went to the dean, and every day I dropped off. No, I'm not going to tell you how I did it right now. No. Nah, whatever. I'll tell you how, because that's the biggest importance that people leave out is the how they do things, and it takes a damn lot of effort, which is why a lot of people don't even want to tell you how. But I'm going to tell you how. And I want you guys to join the Telegram group. You can ask for it in the comment section below. I want you guys to start joining the community and let's form one right now. Okay? Now, what I did was I went up to them and I just said, hey, can I speak to the dean? Who's the dean? Dr. Karen Blank. Not going to say her last name right now. And they said, okay, here's Dr. Blank. And she's in here right there. And I said hello and I spoke there. You know what I did after that? I came in virtually every single day. Virtually every single day. The school wasn't open on Sundays. And I think the deans were not in there on Saturday. But I still would come by some of the times. You know, the counselors are there. Funny enough, I actually got my counselor to give me something that they said, students should never take this many course hours. This is too many. 22 course credit hours. That's too many. I said, oh, give it to me. You shouldn't go over 18. That's fine. But are you sure? Yep. And give me the hardest subjects I can have in the morning. The calculus, discrete mathematics, introduction to computer science, blah, blah, blah. All in a row. I said, let me just get them so I knock them out. Start them off in the beginning of the day. Start me off at 8 a.m. and let's go. I'll be done by, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Got the rest of the day for myself. Well, go straight to cross-country practice, actually. So, but I would go there every single day. I would say hi to the associate dean, him, Mr. H. I'll say that. And Dr. Blank. And then I would speak to the people, that's at the desk there, like a secretary and everything. And the counselor say, hey, here's some water for everybody. Drop them a bottle of water. And here's something to eat. Just dropped off some food, just saying, hi, here's this. No, here's a peppermint, or here's some. I don't know if they ever ate any of the stuff because, you don't necessarily, in certain day and age, you don't know if something's tampered with, but with a bottle of water, that's sealed up. So, but it's some water, some food I bring some of the time. Some of the time I just came in there and there was nothing I dropped off. I just said, hey, I'm just saying hi, seeing how everybody's doing. That's it, going out. And that's what I did. It was like a job. I came in there some of the time and I did that. And other times when I came back later because I established that relationship. I also did that with some Fortune 100 executives at one point when I used to maintain those relationships. I would send them emails. Okay, I send them emails. Hey, this is what I'm doing, and I got hired by one of the people we invited for. One of the people that we invited for a conference at our university, and I remember because he used to work for Alcatel-Lucent, and he had his own company, and I invited him. I sent this email out to several people. I said, Happy Thanksgiving. I'll never forget this one either. Happy Thanksgiving. I just worked on my website, which was basically my name.com and everything like that. And it was like a self-help website, kind of cringy now that I think about it, but it was there and I had some designs on there. He said, hey, we're looking for a graphic designer, which that's not what I am. I'm not very good at it. I said, hey, I'll do that job. It was actually very difficult for me to do, but I said, hey, I'll do that job. Because I had wanted to work with him before and some other people. This same guy said he wanted to be me when he grew up. That was an honor that he said that to me when he met me. He said, wow, you're really not trying to get a degree? No. He said, I wish I could give back my, master's in computer science, or was it a doctorate degree in computer science? I think it was doctorate degree when I met him at that conference. But later on, this was maybe a year after that conference, and I'm still sending them emails every holiday. I don't celebrate holidays, by the way, people. I do not celebrate holidays. Yet, around the holidays, I sent them, because most people do, I sent them Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Christmas, and everything like that. Happy holidays around Christmas. Here's this thing. Just when I think about it, not every single one of them, just usually the fall ones. And I was sending this to a lot of different contacts that I had. And I sent them something. I said, hey, now I wasn't looking for anything. I just said, hey, hope you're doing fine. By the way, here's my websites that I just worked on. I don't even know why I included the website. I just wanted them to have proof that I was still, doing my thing and everything like that. And I made them like a card. Yeah, I think that was also it. I made them a card that I made myself, like a little gift card or one of those greeting cards. So there. But I did that at the university, and from that university, we hosted a conference. And from that conference, I kept in contact with some of those Fortune 100 executives and people that were formerly, that worked high up on some important projects at those Fortune 100 and 500 companies. But back at the college, my plan was to combine, because I wound up doing a double major. Once I found out it was only 6 extra credit hours, I said, hey, I'm a double major in computer science and marketing. So I went from the marketing, computer science, I was always in there. The marketing department, I really talked to the dean like that. But I found out secret scholarship money that I got extra access to because the dean told me. Had I never spoke to the dean, because they're not going to tell us, had I not spoken to the dean, I wouldn't have found out that extra scholarship money. I wouldn't have found out other opportunities. Because when I hear people say, we don't got the opportunity like that, I understand to a large degree. I really do, because we face that system worldwide, especially as black people. We face this system worldwide where they're trying to take the opportunities away from us. But there are still opportunities in these areas. And a lot of people are not going to work their ass off to get them. That's what I want y'all to understand while I'm almost 50 minutes into this video. You thought I rambled when I spoke about the university and the college thing. No, I did not. It's all in the same thing. That was an example. And it's good for me, but I don't want you to look at that and say, oh, That was good for him. Who cares? No. Take that example. Something in there I said. I went there. Many of you went to universities, and hopefully I caught some people that are in university. Why don't you go up to your goddamn dean? Why don't you go up to your goddamn chancellor or president? And you know what I heard when I told somebody, that's not like this in Nigeria. Nobody can just walk up to the there. Yes, you can. You know why? Because that's not like that where I'm from either. What the heck? People don't just go up to these people like that. And if they do, they just say hi or they complain about what they need to have fixed at the university, but they're not talking about, hey, this is the plan I got here. Like when I went up there, I said, look, this could bring in this many hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions. This is what I got the plan. Let's combine this college, and this college together. Have them work together on this mass thing. This is what I want to do. Boom. Let's make it happen. Now, they could always reject that. Cool. Now you got that done. You go to another university while you're still a student. Travel out. Go to different things. If you can't get a meeting and they ask you why, because they asked me why. That's what I was told. Well, I can't do that here. See, too many of y'all got the I can't do mentality. I don't have that. I literally have a delusional mindset of that I can do something. Even if it said, no, I can do it. I'm going to figure out a way. If that's something I really seriously want to do, I'm going to figure out a way. Simple as that. Period. Dot. When I was serious about 4 minutes in the mountain, I'm not anymore right now. I started to actually have big breakthroughs. I changed my mind on some things and I said, look, I'm going for something else. So I am going to get there no matter what, unless I change my mind at that point and change for something else. But there is absolutely no way in my head that I believe that I can't reach $1 billion net worth. And then also, then after that, have $1 billion liquid. Absolutely none. Nothing is telling me and convincing me I can't do that. I will figure it out. So you guys, I want you guys to figure it out. If you're at the university and you got a plan, have something legitimate. Don't just come up there and just talk. Now, maybe you did like what I did with the dean, to be fair. I didn't have an agenda necessarily because I didn't know what I was looking for. See, that's the thing. Good thing you guys got me here. You could drop a question in the comment section and I'll get back to you. See, a lot of times the people aren't going to tell you how to sell them. They're not going to tell you the right words, what to say so they can get opportunities. I didn't even know they had a bunch of scholarships, particularly for black students, that they would just throw out every year because nobody claimed them and they were there. Clearly, they're not telling the black students that. Hey, that's a different form of potential anti-black racism there. Hey, neither here nor there. You know what? I would have never even talking to the deans, if the dean wasn't so fortunate to take a liking to me and telling me that, I wouldn't have known. And you know what I could do with that information? Now, I told you. If you find yourself in those situations, or you know somebody else that's in university, hey, why don't you go up to the dean and then tell the dean, ask the dean, hey, are there blah 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 here? Maybe you don't do it just up front. You just say, hey, I'm just saying hi, and then you establish a relationship with them over a month or two because you're gonna be there for a while. See, it's different if you think and assume that the relationship gonna be short, then you kind of get right there. Or like when you're talking to the chancellor or something, kind of get to business. Because a chancellor is so high up, they're like the CEO or president of a company. So you talk to the president of the university, chancellor, whatever it is, because different universities, some of them have chancellors, most of them do, some of them don't. President, chancellor, whatever. So you talk up to the highest up person, you get them, you have an agenda when you come in about what you want to do. You tell the people in that little front area, they're going to ask, hey, why do you want to talk to them? You tell them, hey, I'm trying to talk to them on making the university some money. You know how that's gonna go out. I can bring money to this university. Of course people want to hear it. What if somebody walked up to you and said, hey, I can make you some more money here, you and you're owning a business, I can make your restaurant more money. Of course your ass would want to hear that. Maybe you just said, no, I'm not, because you think it's some kind of scam. But depending on how they approach you, the basic thing of, I can make you some more money in this struggling economy right now. I just want to talk to you for a couple of minutes. That sounds like a sales pitch right there. It's a different way that you word it. Hey, I got a plan that I want to bring in, and I'm looking to bring in more business connections to the university that brings in some money here. I'd like to schedule a meeting with the chancellor. Now, you see, I just said I'm bringing in money, but I said business connections. See, so it's not like it's a sales thing. Hey, you want to find out how you can make more money on this thing? Let's talk. See, that sounds too salesy. I'm giving you real time examples, even off the top of my head, because I forgot exactly what I said back then. And this is something you can do now. Okay? This is something you can do now. Not, oh, well, if I study, I could do this in 4 years. Right now. Guys, right now. Get off this freaking video and apply some of this stuff in your life right flipping now. I got a trading group of people that are even better traders than me. I've been silent in my trading, crypto trading, and all of those things groups because I'm like, hey, you know what? I need to refocus. I got to rebuild. I got to revamp. So over the next 1 and 2 years, I can come back off of a whole other level, and then I can give higher quality to anybody else there. So when I run these groups again, and I'm gonna be coming in, swooping in, look at what I learned. I could teach the rest of you guys how to do this, and we all can level up together. I need to make sure I take care of myself right now, rebuild myself right now, refresh and renew myself right now, so that in 2026, because it's always the 2 years previous that are showing right now. So 2024 is because of your last 2 years. 2025 is because of the last year plus this year. 2026 is this year plus next year. That's your results. So if you want to get out of that poverty trap, the poverty struggle, the next 2 years is going to be crucial. Remember, I even told y'all about the 5 years that I was talking about, but you can get yourself set up that your next 2 years don't look like any of your previous ones. So that when you get to year number 5, you a whole damn brand new person. Now, if you like that, smash that like button. Tell other people about this and subscribe to this YouTube channel or wherever else I might post this at. This was a long one. Like all of my videos, it's not for the people with short attention spans. This and the information that I give, the really big juicy parts, I guess it's sprinkled in. It was like about after the first 12 or so minutes, then it kind of skipped in 30 minutes in. Then it's like the last 20 minutes I just kind of went hard on. If you guys like that, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below so that I know that you watched it. Okay? You could just say, hey, I watched it. I like the content. Boom. That's simple as that. And share this with other people. I want this. I'm not doing this for myself. I really want to reach people. The masses are not going to have this. It's not going to be the highest subscribe channel. I already know. I'm not looking for the highest subscribe channel. You know what I want? I want about between 10 and about 200,000 just good, strong ass soldiers out there that got their mind about economic empowerment. You do that and you got a black first mindset. You got a black agenda in your mind where you're not just doing the economic empowerment for yourself, but you're doing it for your community, and you're remembering that the whole planet also is kind of looking at Africa a little bit funny, and the black people, and treating them kind of funny. You start standing up for yourself. Then people will respect you, and it'll happen less often, and eventually it'll stop. They'll try you because they got a history of doing it to our parents that let them have a way where they just whine and complain and say, look, they treat me this way. All right, you treat me this way, well, you might get, beat down. We're going to handle some things here. So then you know not to do it again. You got, consequences for your actions. So, but if you combine both of those together, you will leave a formidable Africa over the next 20 years. Okay? So that your children have that whole thing. You see how China transformed in the last 50 years? Africa will have that same thing if I get a good, probably closer to 200,000. And that's just with me personally that I'm influencing. Not even thinking about these 200,000 people will then touch their own people. Many of them will have businesses where they employ 2 employees, 20 employees, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 employees. How many lives will that 200,000 strong ass soldiers touch? That's where we're going for. We don't need everybody on board here. So share this with somebody, get them in their life. If they can't stand these long videos or anything like that, man, forget them. This ain't for everybody. And then everybody's not going to come along for the ride for you. Peace out. And I'll catch you on the next one.